All right, welcome everybody to episode 4 of Pen and Dragon. I am your
The
host, Timothy
fourth
Robaker.
episode.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
Timothy.
I need to get better, not just talking over you.
That's totally fine. Your hosts, Timothy Robert and Isaac Anderson. Mike is out fighting fires once again. We are going to be doing
Yes.
a 3-part series throughout the next 3 weeks about literature and movies, how they go together and how they don't go together. So it should be fun for you
Oh,
all. And I'm going to let Isaac take the reins on this one because he knows a little bit more about this specific one than I do.
yes. Literature and movies. Where do we draw the line? I draw the line at one is literature and one is movies. But there's a certain movie being made right now that has been a little bit in the news. Some people are a little bit tired. It is The Hunt for Gollum. Have you heard of The Hunt for Gollum? Do you know anything about The Hunt for Gollum?
Me? I
Yeah,
I
you.
I know very little. I've looked into it a little bit. Honestly, I'm already gonna get hated on for this, and we're probably gonna go viral for this alone. As a First of all, I love Lord of the Rings, love Tolkien, obviously. I'm also a Rings of Power fan, in a different
Uh,
way. I know that it doesn't go directly with the
oh,
book,
wait. What do you mean in a different way? What's a
in the way
normal Rings of Power fan?
well, in the way that I know it doesn't go with the books, so I don't have any expectation. I kind of actually
Okay.
expected it to be really, really terrible, and it wasn't as terrible as I expected. Um,
Okay.
and I like to be able as far as this topic goes, I like to see worlds. I know there's purists, there's people that are like, "If it doesn't match perfectly, I don't want it. If it's not by this person, I don't want it. If it's not this person, I don't want it." For me, I want the worlds to develop, but it's how they develop that it's how they develop that is the thing for me. So, like, this one specifically doesn't really make sense to me because 'cause I'd rather know what happens after. And as if anybody's seen our image, the fact that, you know, the original Aragorn's not doing it is a huge to me, that's a huge impact because I
Yeah,
comparing to
yeah.
literature, it's like you're writing a character in literature, and then somehow you switch that character out of nowhere. You can't really do it in literature, and that's one of the ways that literature is better than movies, in my opinion, because actors age, actors don't wanna do projects, whatever, and to me,
Yeah.
that really kills this project in my mind. Maybe it'll be amazing, I don't know.
Now, I am actually a little bit excited that for the first time in like 20 years, we're letting a new actor take over a famous role without doing any kind of weird face AI CGI nonsense. I can't think. I mean, the last person, James Bond, we change actors, and that's okay. Every other property that I can think of, we'll try to CGI a face. Like, can you think of a new person coming into a famous role and them just well maybe that Han Solo movie had a new Han Solo, young Han Solo.
Yeah. Batman,
Um,
Spider-Man, obviously,
yeah, Batman. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not that big of a deal as I'm
I
thinking,
mean, one of the
but
things that comes in Game of Thrones, I mean, people had a huge issue in Game of Thrones with, now I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the Bravosi that Arya comes in contact with, who everybody loved the first actor, and then, he switches up or whatever. So,
mm,
I think to me, it's an issue, and you have someone like Aragorn, key character, great actor. It's hard. I don't know. I mean, you have isn't Ian McKellen's coming back, right?
yes, Ian McKellen's back.
He's like a
Uh, uh,
years old.
freaking the Hobbit one is back. I have all the names here if I can get close enough to read that. It's small on my screen.
Yeah, I mean,
We
if
have
Ian McKellen can come back at, like, what is he? He's, like, 96 or something? I don't know how old he is. Sorry, Ian McKellen, if you're not that old.
the elf king man from the Hobbit movie is coming back. That's interesting to
Yeah,
me
yeah.
that guy's coming back. Um,
So, I don't know, for
yeah,
me, like,
so
ah,
having a new Aragon, I think is interesting. I look forward to seeing a new Aragon. Because I kind of want Lord of the Rings to be done again in 50 years.
that's
Um,
fair. I can
so
actually agree with that. That's something I can get on
I
board with.
I don't like the people who cross their arms online and say it's perfect, doesn't need to be remade. Yes, it is perfect. I don't mind if they remake it if they wait a really, really long time. Like I'm talking like I have grandchildren when they do it again, because then I can complain that it's not as good as the original. But so
Well,
the
people hate The
official
Hobbit for that reason. I feel like people hate on The Hobbit just because it's not the original Lord of the Rings, and to me, I think it's silly because I actually love The Hobbit.
yeah, yeah. Yes, that guy, what's his name? I
Oh,
forget what his name is. The Winter Soldier man, Bucky Barnes. He would be a great Luke Skywalker.
I know his name, and I can't
Um,
think.
if if they had that guy in this new Star Wars movie coming out in like a couple of days, I think it's coming out like this week, the new Star Wars movie. Mandalorian and
Yeah, it
Grogu.
comes out the
Um,
15th or 22nd, I can't remember, something like that.
if freaking Luke Skywalker appears in that movie and it's a new actor playing Luke Skywalker and he's good, I think Star Wars is revived. Um,
I think Star
uh,
Wars fans would throw I mean, Star Wars fans are the most nitpicky, craziest fans that there are, so I feel like they would and that will be actually Star Wars will be the 3rd episode of our topic currently, but I do
oh,
think Lord
really? Okay.
Yeah. I do think Lord of the Rings fans are up there as well, though, because I think there's just this group of purists for the and rightfully so. The movies are amazing, but the books, there's so much to the books. Why I actually personally would love a series. I mean, besides Rings of Power, I would yeah, Sebastian Stan, there we go.
Yes.
And Disney owns him, so they might as well use him in everything because he has like a perpetual contract with Disney.
Yeah.
But the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings
Yeah.
movies, I agree with you. They're fantastic. Some of the best movies ever made. That doesn't mean you can't expand. It doesn't mean you can't do different things. It doesn't mean that it's just all there is and there's nothing more. To me, I want them. I want more of that world. To me, if someone made it off a movie off of my books or a show, I'd want them to keep going. Would I want them to alter the way I wrote it or what I intended? No. But would I want them to expand the world, to make more of it, to tell this fun story? Hell yeah. To me, that's amazing.
Now that's a totally different discussion we could get into at some point, I think. Um, if someone were to take your property and develop it, it will naturally, I think, change.
Right, to an
That's
extent.
just the nature of that's the nature of that beast. So how much of that change would you want, like, would you be open to? But are you open for the completely different interpretations? Like How to Train Your Dragon. The original books are very middle grade. They're very silly. The tone is completely different. The story is completely different. And the movie does something vastly different from the source material and does something very, very cool. And I'm pretty sure the original author is also uh, happy that people really like their characters and they're going back and buying their books as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, of course, I forget there's an actual term for it, what you do when you put a book into a movie or a TV show. And of course, there's gonna be some wiggle room, but to me, it has to keep the same maybe it doesn't have to because it's artistic endeavor, right? Directors,
Yeah.
they're artistic as well. But I would want my work personally to keep the same line at least. And to me, that's actually one of the reasons I don't mind Rings of Power, for instance. And I hope that this new movie, well, I think it will, because Andy Serkis is like is he the
Yeah.
director or
Andy
what is he?
Serkis, the director of Animal Farm that just came
So,
out that nobody likes.
well, yeah.
So that doesn't bode well. But I think he's pretty close to the Lord of the Rings group of people. I know that there's a lot of a lot of the original team is back working on Hunt for Gollum. So the official official, I think, just on IMDb, the synopsis here is Aragorn's quest to capture Gollum between the Hobbit and the Fellowship of the Ring, tracking him to keep the ring's location from Sauron. The film explores Aragorn's early adventures as a ranger. Now that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, but how are they gonna play see my issue with it being a different main actor is how are they gonna play that off with Frodo? I mean, if Frodo's in this, which it says he is,
Mhm.
he looks way older than he did when he I mean, I guess they're gonna CGI the shit out of him probably,
Yeah, they
like they
would
did
do
with
something like
like
that.
they did
Yeah.
with Paul Walker and Legolas and everything else. But and to me, that's an issue. I would aside from Ian McKellen, because Gandalf is Gandalf, I think it
Yeah.
should if you're gonna do
Well,
one new main actor, it should be all different main actors.
another thing that's happening, Stephen Colbert has his Lord of the Rings project happening right now as well. The Shadow, something Shadow, what's it called? The Rising
Uh,
Shadow?
sounds right.
What it's something Shadow. But with that movie, from what I've heard, they're using a framing device of the original hobbits they are older, and they're looking back on their adventure, and they're talking about it. They're doing a little Princess Bride kind of thing, which I think would be very fun in a Lord of the Rings kind of setting.
I
So
do
I
too.
wonder if Hunt for Gollum is kind of setting up that template where you have Frodo and you have Sam older, and Frodo's sitting there. He's finishing Bilbo's book. He's adding to it, and they start talking about, Mr. Frodo, where did Gollum come from? Well, Gollum came from. So I wonder if they're going to do something like that.
Huh. I mean, are they direct? Are they correlated? Like, are they linked? I don't. Are they linked or are they totally different? I don't even know.
I know they're both being worked on right now. So I think they'd be stupid not to at least understand that people are going to watch these back to back someday.
Right.
So they might as well rhyme with each other.
I mean,
Yes.
as long.
So
Go ahead.
officially, it's centered according to IMDb. Aragorn is the main dude, but this is IMDb. Anybody can edit IMDb. So the movie could be 50-50 between Aragorn and Gollum, but the movie is called Hunt for Gollum. The person hunting Gollum in the book was Aragorn. So I imagine he's going to be the main guy. But whenever a new movie is announced in a popular property, I see a lot of people kind of rattle their sabers and say, "We don't need another thing.
Yeah.
Enough. Stop beating the dead horse."
And that's one
Um,
thing I don't get. I don't understand it. That's actually one thing as a fellow creative, you're a creative, I don't understand that mentality. I mean, obviously, if it's done badly, like we'll also talk
oh
about the
yeah.
Wheel of Time.
Well,
We'll also talk about the Wheel of Time
if
a little bit, but like,
if it's done poorly, I just won't watch it.
right.
It literally it is nothing to me. So if I am all for them making more Star Wars movies, I am all for making their weird Disney Star Wars movies. If I hear one of them's good, I will go watch it. But so far, I haven't heard very good things, so I don't really care. But if they make something cool someday, I'll be there. So I haven't been offended to the level that some of the super fans have been, I guess.
I mean, as a lover of Mortal Kombat, as a lover of the Mandalorians, like now what I'm getting, these expansions, I'm a huge fan. And like I said, I know most people don't like Rings of Power. I know that people don't look at it as authentic Lord of the Rings, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be, but it is based off of the world. They do a good job. The actors do a good job. It's still a cool, different perspective of a work that an author that we all adore did. And yeah, it's a different take. I mean, I was a lit major. The amount of Shakespeare plays I went to is outrageous. Am I purist in the way that I like the original Shakespeare? Yes. Did
Mhm.
I watched Macbeth and it took place in like 2600 or something in the future, and it was like these
Oh,
crazy, like weird futuristic ninjas and stuff. It was really weird, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't to
yeah.
my taste, maybe, but it still wasn't bad. It was a different perspective, a different spin. 10 Things I Hate About You, different spin on Shakespeare. Like, it's still great. It's still, as long as it keeps the potency of the world and it doesn't, as long as it doesn't mess up canon or take away the
Yeah.
storyline or do something like Wheel of Time did, which is just sacrifice basically the entire work and say, screw the author, then to me, it's okay.
Careful, you're turning into a tiny Mike Mullman.
Oh, man.
Um,
Well, Mike, keep
J-
that attitude because in about 6 minutes after we're done this topic, we're going to be bringing up something that does with you.
oh boy. So JB Mosley has a great little uh insert here. Why not adapt one of the many current projects? I mean, there's so many fantasy stories out there you could do. So yeah, here's kind of here's the money problem. Lord of the Rings comes out. It's the biggest thing ever. Everyone loves it. Everyone goes, "Oh, fantasy's hot. Let's do more fantasy movies." They make so many fantasy movies. None of them come close to Lord of the Rings. So the reason that they do that is, it's hard to get that kind of trust with your audience unless you really wow them. So have there been any other big fantasy properties that went really well? I mean,
Not in
Game
comparison.
of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, you also have to look at it like this. First of all, financially, you get backers and stuff. You slap a Lord of the Rings sticker on, people are going to watch it. You have Rings of Power, which people are actually starting to enjoy. And you also have the opposite, people that hate it. If you're a Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings person and you have the rights, you hear, wow, people hate this, but they want more Lord of the Rings. Let's give them that. They're going to come. They're going to flock. The haters are going to flock. The lovers of Rings of Power are going to flock. You're getting both audiences right there because people want more. So that's a moneymaker. Nobody's going to say no to that. And
Hmm.
he mentioned a struggling indie author, or not indie author, sorry, struggling authors and stuff. Getting a book to movie and to TV is difficult as it is. Some don't even want to give the rights away. I mean,
Yeah.
Sanderson's getting his Mistborn done or whatever, but it's such
Oh,
a
that's
process.
right. That's probably the next big thing.
Well, maybe we'll see.
I think, yeah, in the next few years, Sanderson's going to be, I think, king.
Probably. I mean, probably, but you
I
also
mean,
see,
he his last book he kickstarted was
yeah.
the best, was the highest grossing Kickstarter ever.
Well, he's also been he's been the top 5 in bestseller lists for like 6 years running or something, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Actually, top 3, I think, for like 6 years or 7 years straight, which is outrageous.
And what's great about Sanderson is you got a vast swath of kinds of stories he's done. So Tolkien, he just did Lord of the Rings. So you can jump into these appendices. You can jump into other stuff that he did on the side, but right now it kind of feels like they're like, we got to do something, Tolkien. Let's do these little chapters we didn't do in the last movies. Okay, let's do that, and that could be really cool. They could do it very well, but it also could be, a quick cash grab. But
well, but
if
these
if
both
if
these people that we're talking,
Sanderson's big, if Sanderson it blows up, we could be looking at the next 20 years living in a Sanderson world
that's true.
when
But
it
I mean,
when it
both
comes
the
to
people we're
media.
talking about is Colbert and Andy Serkis. They're tied tightly to Lord of the Rings. They have a
Yes,
respect for the source material, I think. I hope. They've
I
been in
hope. I
that
hope.
camp.
I've heard Colbert talk about Lord of the Rings and Tolkien, so I mean he's the political discourse around him is a little bit controversial and hot. I mean, there's that whole culture war. So if he does strictly Tolkien and does Tolkien well, I think he'll be fine.
Oh, me
I
too.
think
And I think he's
they're.
smart enough. So
I hope so. I hope so. Because I mean, it's kind of been a risky thing in the last 15 years. People injecting their own personal politics into everything, and everything needs to have some kind of political slant. It's either, yes, this is the ultra conservative thing or it's the ultra liberal thing. I mean, there's not a lot of just fun things.
that's true. I mean, Daredevil, actually, this is way off top. Well, not way off topic because Daredevil's a comic, it's literature, kind of. I mean, Daredevil just did this, right? There's a whole spin with Kingpin and Trump or whatever. But I actually
Hmm.
think it did it well to the point where, yes, you can get the reference kind of, but it still maintained the daredevilishness. And I think that's a hard line to walk. How do you walk your
Right.
political line or your stances? Interjecting it, it's always going to come through, right? Whether you're religious, whether you're conservative, whether
Yeah.
you're spiritual, whether you're liberal, whatever, it's always going to come through a little bit. How much do you let leak through that's okay with your work? That goes for writing too, obviously, versus how much
Yes.
is preaching. Because none of us like to be preached at. Overall, most of us don't.
I mean, even if I sat down and I tried to write something that was apolitical, I don't think it's possible
No, I don't
because
think
I
so.
have my own worldviews and my own thoughts on things. It'll just naturally leak into what I write, whether I'm trying to or not. I think people sense preaching.
Oh yeah,
If you try to like, I'm writing this because I believe this. I think that's when you kind of get into risky
right.
territory.
And I think that's an important part of, say, Colbert, for instance. How close to the source material do you stay, and what spin do you put on it, and how does that
Yeah.
work? And that's an important. We're going to talk about the Wheel of Time, so I don't want to bring it up too much. But that's a problem in the Wheel of Time is they asserted so much of this, whatever you want to call it, PC modernism, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, like modern thinking.
Yeah, they spun so much
Mhm.
and they tried to appease such a wide audience and switch these characters and gender swaps, but like numerous gender swaps and storyline swaps to fit a character that doesn't fit the book. It's just like this mesh of them trying to appeal to this modern audience so badly that it sacrificed the source material and shriveled it. It was so bad
Yeah.
in that way. So like,
I mean, if you want to make something to make it feel modern, you need to find something modern to adapt. If
well, at least
I would love them to find some old thing written in like the 70s and adapt it as if it was the 70s. Make it feel like an old movie we haven't like it's been buried away for a long time. I think that would attract a lot of people.
yeah, probably. I mean, I also say this about my series Tales of Battle is if you read book one, it's really dark because I was in a dark space in life. It was, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
11 years ago. Uh, if you read, I mean, I just finished book five 6 months ago or whatever. If you read book five, you can see, if you look really deep dive, you can see I become a lot calmer. I've become a lot less dark. My life has become better. My spiritual and religious views have become different. The way I view the world has become a little bit different. And I think
Yeah.
you can see that if you read deeply. In movies, you can almost see it more, right? Because the flashbang in your face. It's less of like a in a book, it takes time and you really have to pay attention because there's more going on, in my opinion. But in a movie, it's more in your face, figuratively and literally, I guess.
Hmm. When you say it makes it popular, do you mean modern ideas, injected that into old things, or what do you mean?
Oh, I think he's talking about source material, I assume. I assume
Mm,
that Mike is
mm,
talking about source material and what made the source material popular, and then changing so much of that makes you unpopular. Because, like we said, there's a
yeah.
certain amount that you're gonna change no matter what. There's always gonna be a little bit of change or maybe it's significant, but, like, if you start altering storylines, if you start altering characters, if you start twisting things that people really liked, then you run into the issue of source material.
Yeah. I think also a problem you could that I think a lot of these movies and shows that came out recently had is you had people adapting old things and being like, "Oh, I'm a little bit offended by that. I we should try to fix this." Like they're not coming at it from like a like a malevolent angle. They honestly have like, we don't want to offend, the people in our circle, and they try to clean up a little bit. And doing that, they lose the essence of the thing. You know, I don't think maybe there are some people who are malicious who are like trying to this will show those people, but I mean, I don't think if you're hired to write a show and adapt a show, you probably want to do a good job. I imagine.
I don't know,
I don't.
ask the writers of, Game of Thrones final season because
Mm.
they, did not abide by that.
They're trying to adapt something they don't finally. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you hire a writer. Like, what'd you work on? Oh, I worked on this and this. Okay, you're probably a good fit. Come on the board. So, I mean, is what why Lord of the Rings worked is before they even had a studio, it was their buddies together. Like, okay, how do we do this thing? And they're working together to bring this thing to life that they loved. Now it's like when it becomes too much of a job. Okay, we need three writers. Let's hire some writers. Then it gets a little bit corporate. You lose that spark of interest. These people that are adapting this thing may have never read the thing before. Now they got to figure out what this thing is. Very quickly. So yeah, that could be
Well,
messy.
another thing is because I went to Hobbiton last year, which was amazing, and also just
Mm.
so everybody knows, they do a marathon there, and it's called Race Through Middle Earth or something, and it was happening while
Oh,
I was
that's
there, and I was like,
fun.
I know, and they all have these T-shirts. There was a guy dressed up as Gimli, he was singing the Ed Sheeran song, and it was like they were doing all this stuff, and then, like, 2 weeks or I don't know how long later, but Frodo, Elijah Wood went and married that couple there.
Oh, that's
I was
fun.
like, "Damn." I was like, "I wish I knew this, I woulda ran through Middle Earth," but I was on a tour. Um, but Hobbiton is so wildly popular, I'm sure that's gotta play a role. Like, first of all, when Hobbiton was first made, they tore it down after the movies because
Right.
they left it up for a little bit, and they were like, "Oh, people aren't gonna come." Then people started coming by the thousands still years later, and they were like, "Whoa," because they thought Lord of the Rings was a fad. They thought it was gonna be a 6-month to year fad. They tell you this at the tour. They talk
Yeah.
about it. So then,
Well,
The
that
Hobbit
I
came
mean,
out and they rebuilt it, and then they kept building onto it after The Hobbit. and now it
Yeah,
gets I think it's one of the most popular tourist spots in the whole world. They make tons of money. It is
that's amazing.
outrageous. So it's gotta play
I
some
really
kind
thought I thought Amazon maybe they didn't have the rights to do this, but I think a Hobbiton TV show where it's just the hobbits and Hobbiton, like Sam running for mayor. I think that would make a great season of TV. You know,
I haven't
it's
seen him
cozy.
that actor hasn't really done much lately. I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff lately.
He's done a few things. He did the Stranger Things. He was in a couple of
Oh,
Christian
yeah,
movies I know. Um, yeah, so he kind of just been living comfortably off his Lord of the Rings money, I imagine.
well, he's been in some pretty big productions, but I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. As an actor, I think that would be well, also, as far as Lord of the Rings goes, what Peter Jackson did with the movies was so authentic, having locals do so many things. And
yeah.
that's actually part of the spirit that I think you see in Lord of the Rings that you don't see in other projects. There's
So
firefighters there that
here,
crap out of each other.
bringing it back to the original thing that our commenter said, what if you could get a super team to make a film? What 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 would you like them to do? What book? What idea? What would you like to give the Lord of the Rings treatment to?
You're asking the crowd?
I'm asking you.
You're asking me
I'm
who
asking
I would
you.
who I would like to do Lord of the Rings.
No, 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 no. Uh, take a fantasy property
Oh,
that deserves to be a movie and give it the Lord of the Rings treatment that has like a super team of people that love it and they make the thing.
either the Wheel of Time, but I don't think it would work as a movie. I think it has to be a show, or the Arc of Scythe series by Neil Schusterman. I think the Arc of Scythe would be such a good movie, like good three, like a trilogy, or a good show. But I think it'd be a great trilogy because it's not that long, it's not that dense, but the world is intricate and pretty awesome, and the characters are great. And I really think and it's a blend of almost like fantasy and futurism. And I think it would be really,
Ooh,
really
yeah,
fantastic.
that'd be cool.
What about
I
you? What
would.
would you
I got two. First, a classic. I want Chronicles of Prydain,
Hmm,
Black Cauldron. I think if I mean if Disney got their stuff together and just made a Chronicles of Prydain series or of movies, not like a TV show, I think that'd be amazing because those stories, those characters are so fun. They're just it's so charming. It's such a wonderful little place. And the other one is Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne
oh,
Collins.
huh.
So before she did Hunger Games, she did a little series called Gregor the Overlander, which is Alice in Wonderland if Alice fell down beneath New York City and found a civilization of subterranean people.
Interesting.
It is very fun. It's a modern day boy and his baby sister accidentally fall down a laundry chute that goes deep underground beneath New York City, and there's all these people that live down there. They've been down there since like the early colonists came over. So like when the Mayflower came over or whoever did, a group of people settled in these caves underneath New York City, and they've
Huh.
been down there for hundreds of years. And there are giant animals down there, intelligent rats that attack people, and they got to fight them, and a bunch of really fun stuff in that little book series. I think that would make a great series of movies.
I would also say Redwall because I think Redwall
Yeah.
you have to be a fan. You have to know what you're doing, and you have to do it right because it is middle grade, but it's gruesome. It's brutal.
Yes.
The characters are, one way they're important characters. They're like Lord of the Rings characters in the way that it's good and it's bad most of the time. There's
Yeah.
not much in
Rats
between.
are orcs, but they're more fun than orcs because they have fun motivations and
That's
fun
true.
dialogue and fun characters.
That's true.
Yeah,
And
Redwall be I mean, the Netflix dropped the ball major. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. They had freaking Patrick McHale who did Over the Garden Wall. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
It was a miniseries on Cartoon Network. It had Elijah Wood in it. About it, it was a uh, two brothers lost in the woods, and it was all um, turn of the century Americana inspired. It
Interesting.
was so unique and so fun and so well done. I mean, it was him doing Redwall would be a match made in heaven, and it fell apart for whatever reason. Mike
Maybe.
Moblin has fallen asleep. Well,
Well,
Redwall
bring,
is
let's bring Mike Molman into it then, because Mike, this is not a shot at you, but this is a topic that you actually are a part of. This conversation I've had with a few, well, with a lot of groups. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the indie contests this past year in general,
yes, yes.
with a lot of intricacies and stuff. So I want to pose a question to you, Isaac, and talk about this, which is, should these indie contests now, should we be in the spot where all of the judges get rubrics? Should this, because there's, in all contests, not just book contests, people are like, well, is this fair? Is this fair? How did you come up with this rating? How did you come up with this rating? Would a rubric solve this issue? If every judge got a rubric, and sorry, Mike Molman, every every judge in that case would not be able to DNF a book. You'd have to finish the book, which seems fair, right? If you're putting your work in and you're putting into a contest, then you hopefully expect your judge to probably finish it, maybe, unless
Yeah.
it's really bad, I guess. So a judge, because they're a judge, maybe they should have to suffer through it and then fill out a rubric. If you fill it out all ones, that's fine. You're judging it based on that. But should there be a rubric that every judge gets, whether it's 10 categories, whatever, 1 through 5, however they do it,
Mm.
every judge gets the same category, rates it, and you see that rating per round. Do you think that would solve a lot of the issues with indie authors being like, well, why is this? Or why
Mm.
didn't this? Or how did this work?
Well, here's the problem with indie author contests versus trad pub contests. The trad pub books have been published by a big publisher and have sold enough to be entered into a contest. The indie contest, I finished my book last week. My friend group has read it. Now I'm going to enter in this contest for free. So does 500 other people. Now, I'm not going to knock the indie writers and say that they're not as good as the trad writers, because a lot of them are a lot better than the traditionally published writers. Um, but a lot of the other indie writers, they're indie kind of because they want to do something that's so different and so unique, and oftentimes abrasive in a way that the trad publishers may not like. That it can be very hard uh, to do a true indie contest like that. Um,
Well, what if the
but
rubric is based off of, you know, language skill or grammar skill or,
yeah,
storyline interest? Obviously, it's still personal. Obviously, each judge is
yeah,
still like, well, this didn't work for me. But you get to see the rubric on the review or whatever, it gets posted to wherever or sent to you, whatever they do in that case. You get to see, okay, the judge didn't like this. The judge didn't like this. This is my final score out of 40, out of 50, whatever it's out of.
yeah,
There's a score. You get to see the score instead of just like, obviously the reviews are thorough. Mike and these other judges, well, not everybody's, I haven't seen everybody's reviews, but the judges I have read, their reviews are pretty thorough. They seem pretty good. So it's not a knock at the judges, actually. It's more a precaution to keep these going because there is a lot of animosity. There is a lot of indies being like, well, where's my review? Where is this? Why is this?
yeah,
Uh, there is the drama with that judge, like we mentioned before, that was like, I don't like this book because it's religious. That's stupid. Which as a judge you shouldn't be able to do, in my opinion. You should be unbiased as possible as a judge.
yes.
All of your own affiliations should be gone, and you should be judging the work at hand based on the work at hand. So a rubric to me would maybe not solve it, but it would consolidate some of these issues and make less authors anxious or wonder why, and kind of give judges a same footing, right? Because all the judges
Yeah.
are going to be different wants, different desires, different likes, but it gives them a same footing of how these ratings work.
Hmm. So it sounds like he already has something of a rubric in his contests, where the cover is 10% of it.
Oh, Mike, do you have an actual rubric, or is this your personal rubric?
Hmm. So a rubric for my stupid brain That is a list of categories that I rate from 1 to 10.
1 to 5, 1 to
Like
10, yeah,
1
either
to
one.
5. So prose, characters, setting, plot, all that stuff.
Right, or, like, even you could even add, like, grammar versus mistakes or
Right.
yeah,
I mean, if
dynamics, whatever.
I would be a terrible judge. I am a very, very persnickety reader.
Really? See, I'm the
My
opposite, it'd be interesting.
That's good. That's really good. I think that's I'm not proud that I have I don't want to say standards. That's mean. I don't want to I am very I am very easily distracted. If I begin editing your book as I'm reading it, I'm not reading your book anymore. I'm editing your book now, and you've lost me. Um,
See, a lot of
I
authors
I
get that mindset, and I don't get in that mindset. Me and Brian Holzhauser
That's
talked about
good. That's really good. I think that's the better mindset to be in. You need to get into story reading mode. I have a lot of
that,
trouble getting in that mode.
but I think you're in the majority in that. I think a lot of authors or editors have a problem taking themselves out of a book. I think
Mm,
a lot of our peers, including yourself, obviously, have an issue with just reading a book and enjoying it, which is what me and Brian talked about. We're like, we jump into a book, we just like it. Doesn't matter.
yeah.
I'm not there to pick out someone's mistakes. If I see them, I'll DM them and be like, hey, this mistake, people do it to me. Especially with
Mhm.
book one of Tales. I did it forever ago. There's mistakes. It happens. There's mistakes in Wheel of Time, and that's been published forever and it's trad. Um, but I can't message Robert Jordan because A, he wouldn't respond to me because
Unfortunately.
he's
Yeah.
dead, but also because he wouldn't respond to me even if he was alive. You'd be like, who the hell are you? Um, but I think a lot of our peers have the same issue you do, which is getting out of their editing in their own writing head and getting in someone else's story. Whereas I think I'd be a good judge in the way that I can get in almost any story. It takes a lot for me to be out of a story. You'd have to like, I don't know, piss pound a puppy for me to be like, I don't know if I like this book anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Or you'd have to have just
So
like a
his
ton of errors.
yeah. His rubric is prose, plot and structure, characters, emotional depth, entertainment, book cover, world building, originality slash creativity, recommendation factor. Like, would you recommend that's a big one. Will I recommend this book? And then overall satisfaction, all
But
10%.
this is your own rubric, right? Mike
No,
Molman,
this
this
is
is
he said this is the official
oh,
rubric of the
okay, it's an
competition.
official rubric. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, then my question would be if there is an actual rubric, should it be presented as a rubric to the people, like on a review? I don't know. I mean,
Mm,
it'd be nice to have Mike weigh in because he's in this. I didn't know there was a rubric, so that's news to me. That's
yeah.
great.
I mean, I think in an actual review, I think that's a very very helpful thing for people wanting to read the book. Like if
Yeah.
I read a review and I see at the very bottom, oh, here's the scores. If I see that prose is a 2, I'm not going to
Well,
bite. I'm sorry.
right. I mean, if you're a prose person and you see a 10, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm interested. If you see a world building a 2 and
Well,
you're not a world,
if prose is a 10, that makes me go, is this too head in the clouds?
yeah, that's fair.
Um, yeah,
But then, like, it gives you a chance, not only as a writer, but as a reader, to be like, well, this doesn't really work for me because I'm really into world building. And this world building is a 1, or
yeah.
this world building is an 8, but the prose is a 3. I'm not really a prose person. I like the world and getting into the world. It
Well,
gives
yes, yeah. I mean,
a
I
chance.
have read books that the prose is awful, but the characters drew me in.
Yeah,
So,
I'll admit my prose is not. I wouldn't say, especially early on. My prose, I hope have gotten better by now. My prose early on aren't great, but I also, as an eighth grade English teacher, write it to be readable to the masses, not to be
yeah,
next Tolstoy. I'm not trying to purple prose my way to the top. Maybe I should. I don't know.
yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. But also, as a reader, I really don't like super prose because it sounds really pretty. I'm a poet. I love reading it, but then at the end, I'm like, huh, what actually just happened? Like, it's
Yeah.
so much nice alliteration and all this beautiful description, but then I actually don't know what happened by the end of the page.
I've worked on the Guard Maze sequel a little bit, and I wrote the first 3 chapters, and I walked away thinking that's very very pretty. Like I was very happy with it, but like, is this too pretty? Did I spend too much? Am I indulging myself too much here? So I put it aside as I'm finishing the next Song of Bone story. So I'm looking forward to going back and kind of going through that again and seeing if that's worth keeping.
Well, I love
Because
when
I think
someone. Oh, go ahead, keep going.
oh I yeah because I think people who think highly of themselves, like I don't want to think I'm like the next Tolstoy or like the next big wordsmith or because I read true wordsmiths like Peter S. Spiegel, who did The Last Unicorn, and I read that, I'm like, "Oh my goodness, if I could just have an ounce of that, that'd be amazing." So, I'm wondering if am I trying too hard to be that, and will people pick up on that? Well, the the best writing doesn't draw attention to itself, I think.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think. I mean, that's why if anybody asks me, George R. R. Martin is the goat because his prose, his world building, everything is just so
Mhm.
good, but not too much. To me, that it's just unparalleled. It's not super purpley, but the prose are beautiful. It's not
Yeah.
crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, actually, the world building is pretty in depth. But
Mike, real quick, is that rubric for Spiffbo?
I think
JB Mosley wanted to know.
he's talking about Ibor, or
Ibor?
Ebor, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into cover ratings, real quick, then, and I know Mike is going to say yes to this, but do you think that a judge should DNF a book in a contest? And obviously, like you said, trad pub versus indie is more complicated because, like you said, trad pub has been gone over. It's
Yeah.
had these professional editors. There's not really a
Yeah.
guarantee for that in the indie competitions. There's no guarantee that this has been edited even once. There's no guarantee there's been a beta. There's no guarantee there's been anything. So
Yeah. If you paid to be in the contest, yes, I think the judge should read it. If it's a free contest, then I mean, you have to respect the judge's time.
that's fair. That's a fair thing.
Respect everyone's time. You don't want to leave, the reader, wondering, oh, when you've decided, 10 pages in, oh, I hate this. You don't want to like keep that person waiting for months or weeks. Like, oh, um,
Before we jump
yeah,
into our cover rating, then should there be a specific amount of pages a judge should have to read, even in a free one?
I think so.
Should
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
there be
You
like a
should.
30 page, like a 30, 40 page limit to where it's like, hey, you have to at least get here before you're like, no, this book's not doing it.
I think by depending on the genre, but I think by 10 or 15 pages, you should be able to know if this book is doing something for you. Because I think that's enough time for the author to show off his style, to kind of get across the ideas he's going to explore, any hints he's dropped, any foreshadowing things he's promising. Character motivations are starting to come into view, and like, oh, I'm interested in that, or I don't care about that. I think that's enough time to really know if if you really want this book to go forward. Mike
See,
reached 25%. That's
oh,
really
that's pretty
good.
good. Okay, I think
That's very
that's
good.
a good rule. That's a fair rule, Mike. Okay. Mike, okay, Mike destroyed me, everybody. I thought Mike was gonna get mad at me, and he just proved me wrong about everything. There's a rubric. He reads a
Yeah.
quarter. So okay, well, that's all good things then. That's what I would like. I think 25% is actually, I would say 20% would be the minimum to me. Um,
Yeah.
but as a Wheel of Time reader, the first 150 pages of almost every book, I don't really give a damn. Because the Wheel of Time doesn't really get interesting until like the 200th page, almost every book.
Yeah,
But
so JB says depending on the number of judges, a book could get just a pass by a judge, just pass it to another judge.
that would actually,
That
that's
could get
not a bad
messy.
rule. It could, but it's
That
not a
could get
bad rule because then you're not getting
yeah.
a judge. I'm not a horror reader. Not that I can't read horror and
Yeah.
judge it fairly, but wouldn't you rather the book be judged by a horror reader, at least for the first round, than someone that just doesn't like the genre? So,
Right.
not a bad
Well, I think
view.
if you have judges on your competition, they need to be aware that they're going to read genres they may not like, but they need to
Right,
be able to judge accordingly. Like this is doing this genre well. It's not a
right.
genre I personally like, but it's doing it well.
Well, it's just like reviews.
Right?
Reviews in general should
Yeah.
be like that. Hey, I don't love this
Trinity
genre.
reads half of it.
Ooh, that's
That's really generous. How
see, I don't
often do
do
you DNF? How often do you
I never
DNF at that?
I never DNF. So for me, I would read all of it, but I'm curious too. I don't imagine Trinity even DNFing. I'm surprised. She's not even gonna admit it. She's gonna be like, never.
Mhm. Second round going forward.
3
3
judges each
judges
book.
win
That's
each
cool.
book. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I guess
You
that first purge kinda gets rid of the low effort books, I
so are you all
imagine.
gonna Mike Molman, are you all gonna be sharing the same rubric with each other then and doing, like, a three-person score? Because that would be pretty
Oh.
cool. To me, that would be actually pretty awesome.
Maybe get the averages and get with
Yeah.
all the
Yeah, having all 3 judges mesh the average and the top average goes
wow.
on, that'd be pretty, pretty impressive,
And
actually.
then when the numbers are down, they sit down to talk about it and they go, "These numbers might be higher, but I think I enjoyed this one more."
Yeah,
You could have fun conversation there at the end.
that's true. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for Mike's answer. We're waiting for Mike's answer, everybody that's not watching this. We're so curious. We're taken in here.
Mike is furiously typing.
Mike's actually typing. He's like, "Man, I should just be writing my book. I'm typing so much in this chat
Yeah, he's like,
today."
"Eh." Or Mike is like, "I'm actually going to wait. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna
This is
let
a
them
great
stew."
part about the live chat. This is a great me and Mike had this conversation about live chat earlier. Everyone rates
Yeah.
individually and the highest average goes forward. That's awesome. That to me is a great
You
that's a
know,
great
maybe we should probably have Mike on to talk about, judging contests and all this stuff rather than just talking through the chat like this.
I know, we should.
We we we, we should definitely plan a Monday at some point and have Mike on and because I love talking about in-person events. I love talking about judging things and reviewing things. I love talking about the state of fantasy today, and I mean, Mike talks to a lot of people in the fantasy world. I'd love to hear.
He
I'd love to.
does.
I like picking Mike's brain. Mike
He
is fun
also
to talk
does
to.
he's also one of the authors that does the most events out of people I know. So,
Yes.
it would be cool to have him on and just get his perspective on that, especially because 'cause I'm about to go do my first event in person next month. So, like, I'm peeing my pants
Oh,
already.
it's fun. It is so fun. When I was at the book fair, when I saw my target audience come by and like, oh, they see the book. Oh, it's great. It's great. My mother is getting text messages from children saying, Did you write Song of Bones?" I was like, "No, that's my son, and I'm not going to give you his number. That's creepy. That's strange." Um, so it's cool when your audience finds you. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit there and poke people, I think. I think I'm just gonna get a foam finger and just poke people. Um, whoa. Well, we just talked about Mistborn becoming a show, so this is perfect. Trinity has not finished Mistborn in 2 years, so everybody knows. So Brandon Sanderson,
I
hopefully
don't
you're
like Brandon Sanderson.
don't tell me that because I'm on Wheel of Time book 11, and I'm about to get into my first Brandon
Oh,
Sanderson writing next
I hear he does very well with that. I don't
hope
know
so.
why I don't like him.
A lot of
His
people don't. A lot of people
yeah.
do, but a lot of people don't.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's get into for the sake of time. Sorry, Brandon Sanderson. Let's get into our cover rating, Isaac, if you will bring it up.
Bum ba-da.
So, because of
Brian
Ivor,
Kears. Sorry.
yeah, I actually don't know this fellow indie. I don't know if you
Mhm.
do, but this book is in the Ivor thing that we've been talking about, and I was reading through the reviews, and I kept going back to. I went back to this cover 3 times. 'Cause I actually had a different cover in mind for this week's rating because this is my week to pick everybody,
Yeah.
and Daughters of the Crosslands just kept and it's not even like the most crazy intricate cover I've ever seen, but there's something about it that draws me in. The color scheme going from like this black, this yellow, this intermediate blue to this bright red, and then at the top this black and dark red. And there's something about this. First of all, it's all center, and there's just something about it that drew my eye in multiple times. And I kept being like, wow, what is it about this cover? Because it's not the typical cover I would go for. But what about this cover do I like? And it's just something, the presence of it, I don't know. I just actually enjoy the cover.
Yes. It is a very confident cover. The word Mike says boring cover of yes, yes. I I love good graphic design, and this has some fun graphic design, but it also has very painterly elements to it. I mean, it feels like a painting. I mean, I know it's not. I know it's digital, but it has that grit that real paint has on real paper. Um, and it's very bold. It's a little bit abstract. You're not sure what you're looking at. It
Yeah.
reminds me of like classic sci-fi covers, like Ender's Game, that classic cover that has nothing to do with the book, but it's a very fun, cool cover. Atmospheric, yes, very much
Yeah,
so.
it is very painting like. I do agree with the texture. Maybe that's one thing I didn't think about word-wise, but texture makes sense, and it is
Whenever,
abstract.
yeah, whenever my brother is doing a cover for me, I always tell him more texture, make it look real, because he does everything digitally and he's very, very good at it. He's very good at making things very, very clean, very, very precise. But I like that grit. I like that feeling of paint on paper, and it's a little extra thing you have to do, but I think that really makes your book feel like a real thing.
Yeah, me too, and the blending of the colors is I think what really drew my eye in was the blending of the covers. It's like or the colors, sorry,
Yes.
on the cover. It's an interesting blend. It goes well. It's like these muted colors and this weird dusty orange and this bright red,
Yeah.
and usually I'm into covers I want most of the time I'm like, "Okay, I know what I'm getting into," or, "I wanna know what I'm getting into." This cover, I actually have no idea what I'm getting into. There's the person with the sword, so I know there's swords.
Yes.
There's
I I I like how lonely it feels. It feels very lonely.
It does. It feels like desolate, right? It feels like they're walking into
Mhm.
tragedy, essentially. That's what I kinda get from it.
Yeah.
Um, I'd be curious to know I wish Mike judged this one because 'cause I'd be curious to know how dark it is. Because to me, it looks on the line of grimdark, almost. It looks almost like
Yeah.
they're walking into death and there's no way out, almost. That's what it appears like to me, but there's a glimmer of hope. There's a little bit of hope in there somewhere based on what I can see. So, I don't know if those are city towers, so I don't know what time this takes place, and I don't know if this is it doesn't appear to be old school fantasy because it's not a castle. It looks like these giant, almost Wizard of Oz towers that are on fire.
Yeah.
So, in that way, the cover I think lacks because you don't know what you're getting into, but in the abstract way, it excels. So, like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean,
This cover definitely sells a feeling
it does.
above
Yeah,
all
def-
else. So as
invoke.
long as the contents of that book match this feeling that the cover gives, I'd say it's a fantastic cover. I mean,
Oh, me
already,
too.
I mean, this feels like it's going to be literary. It's going to be a little bit experimental, a little bit flowery, maybe something akin to The Road or something Cormac
Ooh,
McCartney ish. That's
I
kind of
could see
I'm
that.
getting that vibe. It would be on that shelf with those books
I
that are
could see
more
that.
flowery.
So, what do you give it then, Isaac? Let's hear what you give it. Dang, Mike Molman
Oh,
gives it a 6, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I give it at a 10. I think I give it an 8. This is a very solid, very good cover. Um, I mean, I would pick this up and I would read the first few pages.
Yeah, me too. I also give it an 8. I was between 7.5 and 8. But I think the way this cover works is it wants you to figure out what it is. It's something about this cover that draws me in. It's like I want to know. You look at some covers, you're like, I know what this is. Cool. I look at this and I'm like, man, I want to know what's in this. I want to know what writing style it is. It gives me a sense of hope, a sense of desolation, a sense of destruction. This guy walking with his sword. I wanna open the book and see. So as a cover,
Yeah.
it excels. So it's an 8. And hopefully the writing and the story matches it. I don't know, but as far as the cover goes, I want to open it and read it. I want to see what it's about. I want to know. I want to know what time frame it's in. I want to know. I have a lot of questions that I want to know. And that to me makes this a great cover. If a cover can make you question and make you want to know, that does a good job.
So you're saying your interest has been piqued.
It has definitely been peaked. I mean, literally when I was going through the books, I went back this is the only cover I went back to 3 times. It's the only cover I was like, "What is it about this thing?" I kept going back and I was like, "Man." And the title doesn't give that much away. I don't know much about the title. I don't even know if that's it doesn't look like a
Daughters of
girl.
the Crosslands. So this is
Yeah,
definitely a I mean, the that name didn't say anything about the book other than it takes place maybe in the Crosslands and
and that
you're
there's
with the
daughters.
daughters.
But, like, the
So
people on the front don't look like daughters, not at first glance. Maybe they are, I don't know. They don't look
maybe
like
they're going to
daughters.
go rescue the daughters.
Maybe, that could be true. And it's also a series, it's Chronicles of the Crosslands, so obviously there's something about Crosslands. Um, I do agree. I get the Cormac vibe from it. That is something I didn't think about, but I do get a little bit of that vibe. So actually, a little bit of Anthem by Ayn Rand vibe too. A little bit of this
Oh,
futuristic world that's been destroyed. So kind of like Cormac in some ways.
yeah. When I say Cormac, I think this book has a style. This
Oh,
book
that's
is
fair.
going to have
Writing.
yes, a writing style is going to be a little bit more in the collegey kind of circles, or maybe it's a little bit too big for his britches. Because not everyone, some people try that. Not everyone can pull it off.
That's
So
true.
hopefully this is one that pulls it off if it is in that direction.
It is. I like what you said at the beginning. It's a confident cover. It is.
Yes.
It is a confident cover. There is something confident about it, something artistic about it, and something that says that doesn't necessarily say self pub about it. Almost.
Yeah.
Not that self pub covers aren't great because they are. They're fantastic. But we have a wide range. We talk about this, and this does not give that. Oh yeah, it's self pub. This is something you actually I could see on Barnes and Noble shelf section.
Yep. Under normal.
Yeah, I don't know what the normal sections are. I haven't been in Barnes and Noble in a long time.
The normal sections. Oh boy. How are we going to save literature? How are we going to save it?
one indie at a time. Well,
One
depends who
indie
you
at a
ask.
time. Yeah.
So I hope everybody enjoyed this show. We're almost at an hour, so we'll try to cut it. We're still not getting it to where we want it to be, but it's okay. Next week we will be talking about the Odyssey movie and the Odyssey
Odyssey.
itself, which also will bring in the Iliad. We'll bring in the Iliad. We'll bring in Troy. Mike will be here
Yeah.
with us. He will be out of the fire and on the webcam. We will be discussing the Odyssey movie, the Odyssey itself. We'll be relating it to the Iliad and Troy. And then we'll bring in another indie topic after that if we have time, because I feel like between the three of us, we have a lot to say about the Odyssey. And I mean,
I have opinions about specifically Nolan and his methods. I think kind of a teaser, but I think he's doing something strange. I think they're hiding something
I think so
in the
too. And
marketing.
whether that will work out, we do not know. And I don't know if Homer would approve. I don't know if Homer would even approve of Troy personally, because
Oh,
Troy
Homer
also
don't care. Homer don't care.
maybe, or maybe he'd be like,
He's not
man,
even getting any royalties.
that's true. He is getting no royalties, but he also might be like, wherever he is, I guess in the underworld, right? With Hades being like, man, what the hell are you all doing to my freaking books?
I mean, how many times has he said that with all the adaptions and all of the different versions and all of the translations?
That's true. Even the translation is probably like, man, that's ugly. In English, in
Yeah.
German, ugh. Like, what the heck?
Spanish.
Yeah, he's like, what are these languages?
Well, Spanish is a little bit closer to
That's true.
Latin.
At least
It
that's at
wasn't
least
written
it's
in Latin, was what was written in?
Greek, I think. Maybe
Old Greek.
Latin. No, it's a question we'll have to look for next week.
Yep.
And just so everybody knows, there will also be 2 shows next week. We will be doing our normal show, like we just talked about, and then on the 21st, we will be doing a quick release party for my Flame of Alamandraz book, where the Bearded Book Beast will be joining us. Michael
The
will be
Bearded
joining
Book
us.
Beast is gonna be here.
He is.
It has
Michael will
been
be
so long since I've talked to him.
really, yeah,
He
he's
was one
coming
of
on.
our first guests on All Caps. That's gonna be great.
Oh, really? Yeah, I messaged him. He's very busy, and I was like, "Hey, man, can you make this?" He's like, "Hell yeah, brother!" And I was like, "Oh, he's probably the coolest person in all the indie community." No offense to you or myself or anybody
Oh no,
else.
that's fine. That's fine. I love cool people. We can
He is
always use more cool people.
he is one of the most, I don't know, the best people I think in the whole community. Michael from his show is the author adjacent, I believe, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And Mike Molman will also be with us.
We're
So
gonna have a stacked panel. We're gonna have so many like really good, like smart people on the show. That's gonna be
yep,
and
and a show crossover.
we'll
We're having our first crossover. Well, besides
yeah.
yourself,
Uh,
besides yourself.
will Mike Cahoon be able to make it as well? Is that
Yeah,
aligned with his schedule?
he did say
Okay,
he would be able
cool.
to make
I'm
it. So,
on the Discord. I just don't remember anything we say on the Discord.
well, you've had a busy weekend. Yeah, all 3 of us will be here. All 3 of them will be there. We'll be having a crossover. It'll be a fun time. So, if everybody has time to tune in twice next week, we will be having. Yeah, I just don't know how to say his last name. Mike. Oh, there's gonna be
Michael Vardenay.
3 Mikes.
Like the wine. Like the wine. A nice,
I just don't want
white Vatinay.
So there will be 3 mics and then the other 3 of us, just so everybody knows. It's gonna be a
Oh
mic
yeah,
fest and then the rest.
so many
Um,
mics.
so many mics. So tune in next week to figure out our views of the Odyssey, and we'll talk about Troy. I'm sure I have opinions on
Oh
both of
yeah,
them. I wanna link them. I wanna talk about them. Mike Cahoon will be with us, and then tune in on that Thursday for the launch party. And thank you all for being here live, and then thank you for all of you that are listening to this on Spotify, looking at our TikTok clips where you can find us at Pen and Dragon.
oh
We're
yeah,
now on Instagram at Pen and Dragon _ pod. Thank you to Mike. There is a newsletter. Also, thank you to Mike Cahoon, who did a fantastic job
yes.
creating a newsletter. He
Mike is
tried
doing great things.
He is. He is trying to help Isaac out because Isaac does too much, and I'm a nincompoop when it comes to all of this stuff. Mike tried to walk me through writing my own newsletter, and I gave up because I was like, "Screw it, I'm done." So subscribe to our newsletter. We will be sending out just little glimpses of what the next topic is for the show, any special guests that we're going to have on, anything like that. So if you're curious about, if you want to know what you're looking forward to, we will be sending you a newsletter. If you want to go and click, um, we can post that somewhere. Mike Cahoon is in charge of that because I don't know anything.
Mike is smart.
Yeah. So yeah, keep a lookout. Thank you all for joining. And I think are we on iHeart, Apple, something? I don't know.
I think so. We're on all the podcast places. You'll find us on Spotify. You'll find us on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or whatever it's called. There's Google Podcasts. There's
Yeah.
iHeartRadio. We're
iHeartRadio.
in
I
all
think.
the places.
And then, Mike Cahoon, while you're here, before we leave, there was someone we were supposed to shout out that put us on their website, and I don't remember who.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Someone did. Who was that? Someone was very nice to us.
They were, and I want to thank them, and I meant to
They
thank
were
them, and I forgot who it was.
they were so nice. I have to scroll way back in this
Well, that's the thing is
Discord
we talked too
message
much.
history.
Where are you, Cahoon? I need you. Quick, quick.
Oh, it's fine. I can regale the people with my tales of whimsy. I found it. Stories true and fictional.
Okay. Well, thank you, Stories True and Fictional, for adding us to your website, our
The
podcast.
our our fun Australian podcast friends.
Yes, we appreciate you. We are grateful to you to be. Well, thanks, Mike Cahoon, for weighing in now after Isaac found it. Great. uh, so thank you to our friends down under, Stories, the True and the Fictional, for putting us on your website. We appreciate it. And
Like and subscribe, everybody.
thank you,
Mike
Mike.
Molman again giving us to list what we gotta do.
That's true.
We gotta like and subscribe.
We are still learning. So like and subscribe to all of our stuff. Check out our newsletter. Like and subscribe our YouTube. Tune in next week twice. Check out Flame of Alamandraz coming up on May 22nd. Check out Song of Bones by Isaac Anderson. And check out The Scion Conspiracy by Mike Cahoon. Check out all of our books and then come back and tell us how much you love them, or don't tune in because you hate them, one or the other. Thank you for being
Or you
here.
can send me messages personally and say, I found this problem. There's this mistake. I had a friend, he bought a copy of Garden Maze, and he was like, hey, near the last chapter, you're missing like a whole word. I'm like, what? Well, where's a word missing? Like, that can't be right. So I go through, and sure enough, in all these printed copies I have, there is a missing word at the beginning of one of the chapters. It's just gone.
Huh.
I don't know what happened. What editing pass had me delete the word? It's gone. No punctuation. Just the sentence ends. And it
Just
goes.
say it's on
I mean,
purpose.
it could almost be stylistic. It could.
Yeah, John Gwynn does it.
Could. Sure, John Gwynn. Yeah, sure. But I'm thinking, because I have all these physical copies of this mistake, so I'm thinking of what I'm going to do. I'm going to like take a little pin and like put something there, like draw a little thing or something, just really tiny right there in that spot. I don't know. I mean, these books might be worth some money someday. You never know.
It's true. All right. Well, thank you. Like and subscribe. Come back here next Monday. We will see you all then. Thank you, Isaac, for being here. I know you had a busy day. Sorry that we got started late. We will be back on our normal time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And
Normal.
see you all then.
All right. See you guys later.